Okay, Scott, so I want to get back to Vince. Now, the point to me that was one of the most interesting parts of this interview um, was when Vince said that there's a really high percentage of people who are joining just for the discount so they can buy the product. Now, I believe that to be wrong. I think the data proves that's wrong. But let's say for a second that is correct. He's 100% correct, and the vast majority of people that are joining MLMs are joining just to buy the product and to get the product at a discount. Why then does almost every single person in every single MLM on the planet, after a very short period of time, within 12 months, the vast overwhelming majority of people who are using those products from that company are no longer using the products for that company? Why is that? If the products are cheaper and they're good quality, why does everyone stop using them?
Well, again, I haven't watched the whole video, but I do not recall Vince saying that the vast majority of people who join MLMs do it for the product discounts.
Let's say it's half. Well, let's say it's 25%. If 25% of everyone who joins an MLM is just doing it to use the product and to buy it at a discount, why are there not at least 25% of people who used those products a year ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago still using them? Why is it
It's
it's in every single case, it's 99% or more of the people that use the products stop using the products?
it's probably a very similar reason. We had a guest on our show a few months ago. This was a woman who was in college. She got sponsored into Amway and talked into moving from Las Vegas up to Washington State so she could be near her upline in Worldwide Dream Builders. Um, and her family actually supported her, and they bought the Amway products from her as customers for a month or two. But then after they experienced the products, they stopped buying them. And I think the reason, probably two reasons. Number one, they're overpriced, and
Yep.
you don't really realize that when you first start buying products. And then the second thing is they were not remarkable. After they experienced them, they said, "Hey, these are average products. They don't do anything special for me," so they stopped buying them. And I think that's the same thing with a lot of distributors, because again, remember, this family of hers was supportive of her in her Amway business, and so that would be very similar to, an IBO just checking it out, trying to experience the products, and then realizing the cost of the products and how much more expensive most of them are compared to other similar products on the market. So yeah, that I think that's the reasons why people stop buying the products.
I agree with probably 70 or 80% of what you just said. What I don't agree with is when people join, they're very, very aware of the fact that the products in the MLM are far more expensive than what they are either for a similar item, if it's an exclusive item to the MLM company, or they are just flat out cheaper. The same exact product is flat out cheaper at a normal shop. People, the reason why people buy products that are far more expensive than what else is on sale in the normal marketplace is because they think, I'm going to buy this product that costs $10 that I could buy for $3.50, but this product is going to make me a multi-millionaire. To quote what Dad was told, and he used to repeat over and over again, if I shop at a normal shop, they're not going to pay me an income. If I shop through my own business, through Amway, they will pay me an income. So that's the reason why people... It's the only example I can think of where someone will buy a product for a far higher price than they could buy at a normal shop because they believe it's going to make them rich. The second they discover that there's a 99% loss rate or it's impossible for me to become a multi-millionaire from this, they stop buying the product. So that to me proves Vince's idea wrong, that the main reason why, or whether we say it's the main or a significant percentage of people are joining these companies for the discount and for the product is wrong. Because if that was true, there would be more than 1% of people still using the product and still getting this discount, which by the way isn't a discount. It's if you join Amway, the discount they give you the product is still more expensive if you bought it at a shop without a discount. So it's a lie to say it's a discount. It's an absolute flat out lie to say you're buying discounted products. I remember when my dad and I first joined, they said that you're going to be buying this stuff anyway. It's just if you join Amway, you'll be buying it at a discount. But the things that they sell to you, the thing that most IBOs buy are the things with the high rates of PV. So they're things like energy drinks. Now, Dad didn't drink energy drinks before Amway, and from the moment he joined Amway, there hasn't been a day gone by where he hasn't bought the energy drinks. He didn't used to take supplements. Since he joined Amway, there hasn't been a day gone by where he hasn't used the supplements. So you're not just buying things you'd buy anyway. You're buying things that you normally wouldn't buy for a price that's far higher than what they are in any other normal shop. So yeah, to me, if Vince had a point about people joining for a discount or for the products, the evidence would be there's more than 1% of people still using them. There isn't. So I think Vince is wrong there. What do you make of that, Scott?
You don't listen to my show very often, do you?
I do, actually, quite a bit.
Okay. Then if I talk to you about the Burn Lounge decision, what do I talk about when I mention Burn Lounge?
I haven't seen the Burn Lounge episode, no.
Not that episode. I use Burn Lounge as an example of a legal decision that was made, and what the judge said in the Burn Lounge decision was that customers have an incentive to buy the products. That incentive is only a single incentive, and the question is this product worth the money that's being asked for? And usually the answer is no, and that's why there aren't very many customers.
Yeah. What? Sorry. What percentage do you think is the answer no?
As far as the percentage of customers that say no, I'm not interested in buying that product.
No, you said that some of the time, a percentage of the time, the product isn't worth the money. What percentage of the time do you think that's the case?
Well, it depends on the product.
Overall, just a rough ballpark figure.
I would say at least 95% of the products are overpriced.
Okay, so we're on the same page. I would say 99, you'd say 95, so we're pretty much on
Amway products, that is.
Yep.
99% of Amway products are overpriced.
Yep.
Now, the judge went on to say that the distributors have a conjoined opportunity. In other words, they have two opportunities. One is the same opportunity that a customer has to buy an overpriced product, but they also have a second opportunity that is conjoined. It's together with the first opportunity, and that opportunity, the way I explain it, the one-word description of MLMs is if you work hard enough and long enough, you'll get filthy rich.
Yeah.
And so, to your point, yes, people are told you can succeed. And so the people that believe they can succeed then are also told, in order to get rich, and this is in Amway, in order to get rich, you have to do what I did to get where I am. And so I bought the products.
Yep.
They don't tell them I bought the overpriced products. They said I bought the products. They're high quality. They're concentrated. They're terrific. Blah blah blah.
They say you'll save money on your grocery bill. So even if you fail in the business, you'll still at the very least, the worst case scenario would be that you'll save money on your grocery bill, which is a deliberate lie.
Well, it depends which products you buy. Again, I mean,
okay.
There's lies and there's marketing, but the other big point here is the fact that they're making most of their money from the tools, right? And so they're also told you got to buy the tools because you got to buy the products and you got to buy the tools.
Yeah.
And so those two things, which are the fundamental problems with MLMs, if they have tool scams like Amway does. And everything else is just window dressing, Len. Everything else, this 99%, this, all these other things, they really are not consequential when it comes to comparing them to lack of retail sales and tool scams. And that's exactly what Vince was saying, is if you don't have retail sales, then you don't have a real business.
I actually think if Vince would read the 2006 court transcript of the Amway versus the UK Trade Commission report, or if you just read a very, very small part of it that said 99% of everyone in the UK who was an Amway IBO has lost money over this 30-year period, Vince would change his mind completely. Vince was of the view that there was a very high percentage of people in MLMs who made money. I think that, if Vince reads that... I
don't recall him saying that. I do not recall him saying that.
Okay.
You're going to have to send me the link to the time in that video for me to believe that, because what I've seen so far, the hour and 39 minutes and 35 seconds, he did not say that the vast majority of people in MLMs make money. He did not say that.
He was saying that the thing that Marco didn't understand was that he was saying basically this. Marco thinks that everyone who joins MLMs is joining to become a multi-millionaire. Marco's wrong, because the main reason why people join MLMs is to buy the product at a discount. And that was what Marco didn't understand. Now that's wrong. The vast overwhelming majority of people that join MLMs, they join to become a multi-millionaire. And that's why when, people like Dexter Yeager talk, they don't talk about the products, they talk about becoming a millionaire, owning 25 Ferraris like me, owning 40 houses like, all this sort of nonsense. That's what they talk about, because that's what they're selling. They're not selling a product, they're selling a dream. And Vince has fallen for this sort of, this is the sort of thing that the companies say when they're being interrogated by the authorities, that people are joining for the products. It's mainly about the products. I think there's sort of, when the company talks to the authorities or the media, they say this is all about selling products. But when the distributors talk to the general public to get them involved, it's all about the Ferraris and the houses, the passive income, the holidays, retiring at 25 years of age. That's the difference. And I think Vince has fallen for that. But I've got no doubt if Vince reads that document, his mind will change completely. Which is why that's always my key thing. The only thing you really need to know, the only thing you need to tell a young person about an MLM is 99% in every single MLM ever created has lost money. That was true in the 70s. He talks about how MLM's gotten worse and it used to be great. No, it hasn't. The loss rate was 99% in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. Nothing's changed. It's always been the same business model. And I've got no doubt if Vince could see that data, his view would change.
You're not going to change Vince's mind. He already knows what his own experience is. Even when he was selling a lot of stuff, like with Advocare. In fact, his involvement with Advocare is perfect to illustrate this point, because when he was in Advocare, he said, most of the people were just recruit, and I was one of the very few that was actually selling the stuff. But he was selling the stuff. It's just that most people were not, and that's the problem. And so you're not going to change Vince's mind, because Vince understands how it works. And he badmouthed pretty much every MLM he's ever come across, because it has very little to do with selling products to customers, retail sales to customers who are not part of the MLM compensation plan. That's the definition of a customer. And Vince recognized that. And he says it's gotten even worse. But his own personal experience, he was able to sell the stuff.
It hasn't gotten even worse though, Scott. He's wrong when he says it's gotten even worse. The data is exactly the same today as what it was in the 80s.
Okay, you need to separate the data.
It hasn't changed.
You need to separate the data from the personal experience of Vince. The personal experience of Vince was he was able to sell stuff, and a lot of it apparently, but he never said that most people sold a lot of stuff. He just said, I did.
Yeah.
And you need to understand the difference on what he's saying. If he's focusing on just his own personal experience versus the overall MLM, you're getting those things mixed up, and you're coming to wrong conclusions.
Vince's experiences is that he made more money in normal, regular commission jobs than he did in the MLM selling. I've got no doubt Vince would find it far easier to be a realtor or a real estate agent or to sell cars. Vince could sell Ferraris easier than what he can sell those MLM overpriced products. It's easier to become a car salesman or a real estate agent than what it is to sell those overpriced products. And the fact that Vince is no longer in the MLM selling the products is proof of that. But Vince...
No, it's proof that Advocare got some really bad publicity, and he decided, I'm not going to stick around because they got a lot of very bad publicity. So he quit, not because he wasn't selling the stuff,
Yep.
but because Advocare got in trouble with the FTC, and they got a lot of bad publicity.
But clearly the man didn't do a lot of research when he joined the company. He said he joined the company because a person promoting the company, a person that the company was paying, won the Super Bowl. That's not doing a lot of research on joining a business. To do that amount of...
How do you know that Advocare paid Drew Brees?
All right, well, let's say that I don't think this is true. I've got no doubt that he was paid. But let's say that...
Okay, how do you prove that, Glenn?
Okay,
you can't just make a claim.
Okay, so
Prove it.
Okay, so even if he was doing it for free because he thought the company was fantastic and he believed that it was going to help people's lives, even if he did it as an act of just a good act, because he thought that this company was going to help the general public and he was a good guy who didn't care about money and he promoted this company for free. Let's just assume that this Super Bowl winner was helping a company out for no payment just because he wanted to help people. I
don't think he wanted to help people. He just liked the products.
Okay, it doesn't matter why he joined, but for a person to join a company,
I don't think he even joined. I don't think he even joined. All he did was say, "I love Advocare products, and I won the Super Bowl," and that was enough for Vince to be able to go out and sell the stuff. Plus, remember, Vince is a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And so he comes across as an expert when it comes to nutrition. And so he had the whole package, Vince did. He had this superstar football player. He had his own bodybuilding experience, and people listen to other people when they have this kind of expertise. So, I'm not saying that your average person could duplicate what Vince did.
All I'm going to say is this. Anybody who joins a business because of what the spokesperson's saying or because of what the spokesperson has achieved, that is not doing due diligence. That is not enough research to join a business. That is quite bizarre, quite frankly. If you join a business because of the spokesperson, because you like the spokesperson, well, that's not what a really serious business person would do. A really serious business person is looking at data, looking at facts, looking at statistics, looking at every possible piece of information, not just believing what a spokesperson is saying.
But that isn't the only reason that Vince joined.
Okay, well, in my view, and I think most people's view, that's not doing a lot of research in joining. But maybe I'm wrong. But what would you give Vince?
I didn't say he did a lot of research.
Okay.
I'm just saying that wasn't the only reason he joined. Those are two different statements.
Okay. All right. So, what would you give Vince's performance yesterday out of 10, and what would you give Marco's performance out of 10 yesterday?
Well, since I haven't finished it yet, I would give Vince close to 100, and I would give Marco close to a 0.
So Vince was flawless, 100 out of 100, and Marco was a 0 out of 100.
I said close to 100. I didn't say flawless.
All right, well, give me a number out of 100 then, just so far.
I'm not going to give you a number because I haven't finished the video yet. Maybe he steps on his toes later on. I don't know.
Okay, but you were very impressed with Vince, and you were very unimpressed with Marco. Very, very. Was it a worse performance from Marco than normal, or was this like a new level of being terrible?
It was a new level of stupidity because he's just so stupid, and he finally gets a guest on there that is doing MLM right, and he doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it.
Okay, well, I still can't get over the fact that Vince really thought that Marco was talking absolute trash. He thought that Marco was just an ignorant person who didn't know what he was talking about when he said there's a 99 point something % loss rate. Vince did not believe that.